Welcome back to We're Having Fun. I'm Krista. Hi.
No, sir.
What?
You're Mark.
I'm Mark.
I'm Krista.
Hi, Wilson. Nice to meet you again for another day, another week, another dollar of podcast. Oof. How's it going? Great.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good. Everything's perfect.
I just napped, so I might be a little less upbeat than I usually am. You know how upbeat I usually am.
Yeah, you're a ball of happy. I'd rather you be, just napped and be awake than tired.
That's true.
So.
Any
new news?
New news? No, don't think so.
No news.
No new news?
No new news. Okay.
I mean, not that I can think of.
I can't think of anything either. There might be something, but boy. It's apparently not important enough for me to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess not. You did not go see Morbius?
I did not.
What? I thought you were going to give us your review. Come on.
It's just, it's apparently real bad. I listened to a podcast about it.
Oh, it has like a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. I listened to
And that was like, like last week.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but there's a YouTube video in my subscription box that is all about how bad it is, and I'm like, I can't wait to watch this. I'm so excited to see how bad it is.
Yeah. Well, I listened to the Weekly Planet podcast, and they talked about it. And they talked about mostly that it was just boring.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't want to go see it if it's just boring.
Yeah. I mean, if at least if it has some action and some fun stuff, and maybe some funny stuff that's unintentionally funny.
Yeah, or just so bad.
Yeah. That is like, oh, wow, I have to watch this now because it's so bad. But yeah, if it's just boring.
Yeah.
I can
see. It's not great. So,
I can see that.
Yeah. And I also read that Jared Leto continued his really just horrible being in the character where he
just went around like biting people because he's like a vampire bat kind of person?
No. Well, not that we've heard. But, he's like, he has to walk with crutches in the movie until he gets the bat stuff. So he continued doing that.
No.
When he'd have to like take a break to go to the bathroom. But that was taking so long that they had to get people to wheelchair him to the bathroom.
What is wrong with him? Oh my God.
I mean, I guess that's better than the Suicide Squad stuff. So,
True, but I mean, when they're having to, wheel you around because of some stupid acting choice you're making off camera.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's his method.
Method acting is ridiculous.
I think it's overrated for how bad a performances he does. It's so unnecessary.
Right.
What a waste. Like, I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis, I guess I can see it. Dude's won a lot of Oscars and stuff for
But he's good. He's like really good.
Yeah. So,
And he probably knows where to draw the line, too.
I don't know. I feel like he's pretty bad about it, too. I don't know. Anyway, probably not going to see Morbius. I've already heard about the, after credits.
Okay.
And even their, disappointments.
Oh, wow.
Because they kind of, I think, even the trailer, they hyped up that Vulture was going to be in there from the Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, I think they did.
But he, shows up and doesn't take his mask off because they couldn't get Keaton back in there. And so, I think Keaton might show up and he gets, teleported in there because of the whole Spider-Man multiverse deal that happened, even though that's not how it works.
Yeah, that was okay. That makes no sense because he was already in that universe, but...
Exactly. So why would he come to this one?
Okay, Sony, what are you doing?
Yeah, but then he talks to Morbius at the end. He's like, I think us guys could get a group together and do a lot of good. And Morbius is like, interesting. So, here we go. Sinister Six movie. I don't know.
That does not sound interesting at all.
It's going to be bad.
Although I do like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
But, no.
But, yeah.
No.
So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully not very far. Again, I don't like the Sony movies. They need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just stop.
Well, I mean, some of their stuff is good.
Like what? Name a Sonic movie.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, I guess.
Is No Way Home not a Sony movie?
No, not really.
but it is.
They just, what did they do in it?
Well, I mean,
No way. It's a Marvel movie that Sony
true,
just partnered with them on.
But Into the Spider-Verse is their own.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they got
and it
one.
won Oscars.
Yeah, they got one. It's good.
And it is coming out with a sequel.
It is.
So.
I can't remember what is it.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Nice. You think they're gonna play that Beatles song?
I don't know.
All right.
Well, it's not. The Beatles song is not Across the Spider-Verse.
I know.
So.
I mean, if it was,
are they going to change all the lyrics?
That would be amazing. Yeah.
That would be weird.
Yeah. So, but we're not talking about Spider-Man this week. We're talking about Moon Knight. Mm-hmm. At least this next episode.
Yep, episode 2.
We learned a little bit more. We met Layla.
Yep.
Which is apparently Mark Spector's wife.
Yeah.
And this is surprising to Steven.
Yeah. Surprising to us.
Yeah. Kind of surprising to Layla. She doesn't know what's going on. She thinks Mark's doing something.
Just pretending.
Yeah. He got fired from his job.
Yes, he got to work the next morning, and the security guard was like, "Yeah, I'm about to go over the security footage from last night." And he's like, "Hey, let me watch that because it might be some weird stuff on there.
It's gonna blow your mind. This is crazy stuff you're about to see."
And the guy's like, "Okay." He's like, you're just crouched in terror on here, and there's nothing around. Are you crying?" He's like, "Oh."
Yeah,
maybe
so
a little.
I thought that was gonna be good. Is it all in his mind?
Yes.
What's going on? Because that's a big theme of the Moon Knight stuff. What's real? What's in his mind?
Yes.
Because he's crazy. He's insane.
Yeah. So you can't see on the security cameras. You can't see the jackal, which is what was attacking him last week.
Right.
So you can't see the jackal on there, and he's like, "Wait, no, there was something there."
Yeah.
So it just looks like he's breaking stuff.
I love when he's running to the bathroom. He does that real fast, high need run, just going in there real hard. That is adorable.
And then he's like, "Okay, well, wait till I come out," and then it shows him come out, and he just looks completely different.
Yeah,
because he comes and looks at the camera, and he's
gorgeous.
But he comes and looks at the camera, and he's like, "That's just you, mate."
Yeah, not wearing the costume.
Yep.
Yeah. So handsome. Yeah. So
they fire him because he broke the toilet or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he wasn't breaking stuff in the museum. He wasn't breaking...
Yeah, but I mean, if I went into my job and started just destroying the bathroom, I'd probably get fired.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, it's understandable, I guess. But yeah, he decides he had a key. He found a key whenever he was looking through his apartment and he found that phone, and he also found a key. So he's like, "I'm gonna go see what this key's all about." Mm-hmm. And he finds one of Mark Spector's stashes, this little storage.
Yeah, he goes to a storage place or whatever. He's got a little storage unit, a safe deposit place kind of thing. And he's like, I don't know, I need to go check my stuff. It's
might be under Mark or Spector.
And the guy's like, "Yeah, I just saw you. Yeah. I know exactly who you are. I remember you from last time you were here. Come on.
Storage 43, man. Let's go."
Exactly. And so he takes him there, and he goes in to look around, see what's inside.
Yep. There's a cot and some clothes. And a lot of mirrors again, luckily.
Yep.
Which I've never seen a storage container with so many mirrors, but
Where did all these mirrors come from? Maybe
Why
he
would
put
you
them
need
there.
Mirrors in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And a bag of, it's got a gun.
Yep.
And a scarab. The scarab that we saw earlier. And he opened it up and it started flying around.
Yeah, it was like a compass, kind of.
Yeah. So, and Mark Spector showed up again, started talking to him.
He's like,
telling him to stop some of his stuff.
Maybe you should let me take over the body. And he's like, "No, I don't want to do that."
Yeah, you didn't need to see this. It's not your stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when he goes home. back to his, or he's about to head back to his apartment, right?
No, he doesn't. Oh,
something attacks him.
So Khonshu shows up.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, he walks out, and Khonshu is out there in the middle, like in the hallway of the storage place, and like the lights are flashing and everything. I think it did have like a warning about flashing lights.
Oh, did it?
I think
good
it did
because it was a lot of flashing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he scares him pretty good, and he's like. Tries to
he starts running.
Scare him out. Yeah, so he runs outside.
And he looks real scared, too. Yeah. He's just, like, running like crazy. And he finally runs out, and he almost gets hit by someone on a motorcycle. And it's Layla.
Yeah, Layla's there. He's got the bag, too, by the way. He brought it with him.
Yeah, he took it with him.
Yeah, because he said he's going to turn it in, just get put away, because obviously he's a danger to others and himself. Yes. So it's like, I'm going to tell him everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, finds Layla. Then they go back to his apartment. Yes. Yeah, and she's surprised to see his bed with the chains on it. It looks bad. Yeah. Yeah. And she finds the scarab. And she knows about it.
She doesn't find it. He shows it to her. Because, yes, he shows it to her because
she goes into his bag.
He's gonna show it to her, and Mark's like, don't show it to her because it's gonna get her killed. And then she knows something's in there, and that's when she goes for it. But he was gonna show it to her.
Yeah, but he didn't show it to her.
But he was about to.
She went for it. Yeah. So, And she knows all about it. Apparently, they've been on adventures before.
Yeah, because I think they're like archaeologists or something. Yeah. Or she's an archaeologist.
Oh, okay.
And so they found it together.
Yeah.
And also, she just showed up because she was like, here, you sent this to me.
Oh, yeah, he said divorce papers. Yeah.
So that's why she's there.
And he hadn't signed them?
Nope.
He just sent it to her. So Mark is apparently not good at relationships.
Yep.
Steven's surprised he's in a relationship.
He's like, this never happens.
Yeah, that would have been hard to explain to that girl who wanted to get steaks with. Mm-hmm. So, glad that didn't work out, I guess.
So, yeah, she's got the scarab now. Mm-hmm. And then there's a knock on the door.
Yep.
And it's the police.
The cops.
The police in quotes. So they show up, and she hides. And he lets him in. He doesn't want to let him in, but he's like, I kind of have to let him in.
Yeah, they kind of force their way in.
Yeah, and he's like, I already got fired from my job. I know.
Yeah. This is about the bathroom thing.
We've already...
It's resolved.
It's fine. It's resolved. You don't have to be here. And they come in and they see the chains on his bed. And they're like, okay, what is going on here? And I love that the one guy picks up like this pyramid. And he's like, where did you get this? And he's like, or what is this? And he's like, it's a paperweight? Yeah. He's like, where did you get it?
Yeah.
The paperweight store?
He said this was his mom's flat and like it's his mom's apartment, which I thought was weird since he calls her all the time.
But yeah, he calls her all the time, and Layla said, "You're talking to your mom."
To your mom, yeah. So
obviously the mom is a thing.
She's apparently not dead, but is it the same mom as?
Don't know.
Is Mark and Steven's mom the same? I don't know. But yeah, when they come in, Layla's booked it out the window. She's up on the roof. And luckily they can't hear her stomping around up there. Yeah, and then they're like, well, we're going to have to take you with us. And he's like, well, okay. So they put him in the car. They're heading down. And what did they find that they're able to take him in? Oh, a gun. They found the gun, maybe? And his passport with... Oh, the passport with Mark Spector on it. Right. Because they're like, this looks a lot like passport, you. Eh? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, they're taking him downtown. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there going, that's not where they're taking him. That doesn't look like a police station to me. Yeah, that's what he says when they pull up. And I had already noticed that on one of the guys, it's like, pay attention, pay attention to your surroundings here. I didn't see Steven. I didn't see it. Because he had a tattoo of the scales on his arm. Yeah. I was like, Steven, what are you doing? He's not good at this yet. No, he's not. That's Mark's job. Yeah, so he gets there, and that's when he notices people around him have the tattoos, and he's like, "Oh no, this isn't good." And Mark is in the mirror or in the windows or whatever, like, "Okay, this is your chance to let me take care of this." And he's like, "Not gonna do it." Yeah, he's very resistant. Yep. So then Arthur shows up, Ethan Hawke's character, and they have a little talk, and they walk around their little. Got a little commune. Yeah. Yeah. People are like watching like nature videos. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know. It looked a little brainwashy to me. Oh, but... yeah. So it's like no
I've
crime.
seen Lost. I know what this is.
There's no crime. Everybody keeps their doors open.
And it's like he takes him to like the community kitchen kind of place. And he's like, you should try the lentil soup. We made it this morning, blah, blah, blah. And so they sit down, they're eating, and Arthur keeps talking to him about, I know what he's saying to you. And Khonshu is like just he's just like standing on the roof somewhere talking to Mark and everything. Not Mark, to Stephen.
Yeah.
And trying to get him to not be there, basically.
Right, pretty
like,
much.
Maybe you should leave.
Yeah.
And he's like, but these people seem really nice, you know?
Yeah.
So then he, what is it? Oh, Arthur says, he just told you, he's telling you this. And he's like, how do you know?
Yeah, he knows exactly.
Can you
what he's
hear him,
saying.
you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I was the Avatar before Mark was.
Thought that was interesting.
So,
Never heard that kind of story before. That's good.
And then you find out, I guess you find it out later, but Khonshu wants Layla as his next avatar.
Yeah.
And that's why Mark is trying to not let her know about stuff.
He's apparently got to deal with him if he does one more last thing. Job or whatever for him, then he'll let him go. But then he's like, my next avatar, gonna be Layla.
Exactly. And of course, Arthur is talking about he wants to resurrect Ammit.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound good.
No.
I mean, considering how he's like killing people if they're not good enough, that seems like it would be a bad thing for the world.
Ammit is like the god that like devours the dead or something.
Well,
it's like
they like dispense justice and
they're the part alligator, lion, and hippo.
Yes.
So the 3 like most dangerous animals in Egypt.
Yeah.
So probably not good.
Not good. And Arthur like threatens him with his cane because he's like, "Do you know what this is?" And he's like, "A cane."
I do love just.
He's
all
just...
the stuff. Oh, when they're walking and he's just like, "Oh, a goat." So happy to see a goat.
goat.
He's like, "Yes." That has to be like something he just improv, like just say, "Oh, a goat."
Oh my gosh! If it's not, that was great.
Yes,
I really hope that was just improv.
I bet it was. Surely,
it was funny.
Yeah.
So he threatens him with the cane, and then he's talking about how Stephen's like, but you killed babies.
Oh, yeah. He's like, okay, so you judge people before they do the crime.
Yeah. So you could judge a baby that might do a crime in 30 years and kill it because it might do a crime in the future.
Yeah.
You're a baby murderer.
Y'all are cool with that?
Y'all are cool with baby murder? I mean, he has a point.
Yep.
And they seem to be cool with it. And it's like, okay,
yeah. They're really just scared of that cane, because once he raises that cane, they all start backing away. They're freaking out.
So he's like, I want the scarab. And he's like, I don't have the scarab. And then Layla's like, I have it. Because she followed him there, I guess. And so she she's like, hey, I got it now. And so she's
trying to get him to turn into Moon Knight, basically.
She's like,
put on the costume.
You need to summon the suit. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Summon the suit!
So they're like trying to get out of there.
They take off.
Yeah, he summons another jackal to go after him. Yeah. And that's when we find out that Layla cannot see the jackal.
Right. Exactly, yeah.
Only Stephen can see the jackal.
So, but she can interact with it. It is actually real. Yes.
Because it attacks them they're in like an attic kind of place. Yeah. And he goes out the window and onto the street. And as he's falling off the building, he summons the suit.
He's trying to summon the suit. He's like, suit! Or something like that.
And he hits the ground and he looks up and he's got a white suit and everything.
Yeah, he's got the white suit and the white mask. And this is Mr. Knight.
Yes, it is not the same as he looked the first episode.
And Mr. Knight is like his cool detective personality that, he goes around investigating like Batman. He'll show up at crime scenes and they'll let him in. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. That was fun to see. And that seems to be Steven's superhero personality.
Yeah, because he was like, well, you said summon a suit.
Yes.
Because she's like, that's not what I expected.
Yeah.
So it must be like a new thing for him.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Or at least she's never seen it.
Yeah.
So
even Mark doesn't seem to recognize it, so.
Yeah. Because he's like, that's interesting.
He's strong.
He's
he
very
can punch.
strong. Yeah, because he like rips a bumper off of a car at one point. But yeah, he's strong. He can take a punch too from the jackal and everything. And then she comes downstairs. Well, yeah, it's downstairs.
Yeah.
And she's trying to help him and everything, but she can't see it.
Yeah.
But she does. She can like throw stuff at it. She throws like a bottle at it.
Yeah, and she can kind of see it.
Yeah, she can kind of see it. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, there is something there. I thought you may have just been crazy.
To everyone else, he does just like he's throwing himself around.
Yeah, because one woman's like, is he having a seizure? But yeah, because he hits like a bus and everything. He almost gets hit by several cars.
Yeah. But then, yeah, he turns into the actual Moon Knight.
Yes, because...
And takes off.
Yes.
Because he's getting beat up pretty good.
Is that... Because he lets Mark back into control, right? Yeah, because he's talking to him in like his reflection in the bus, and he's like, "You're not going to be able to do this by yourself. Yeah. You're going to have to let me do it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, fine. You can take control." So he takes control, and he turns into the actual, with the cape and everything, and runs through the rooftops, and the jackal is following him, and he jumps down at like a church or something, and he throws the jackal and like impales
him, yeah.
And it turns into dust and everything.
And I like that the different hero portions have their different weapons. Like Mr. Knight had the sticks.
Yeah, he has little sticks.
Yeah, which he has in the thing. And then Moon Knight has the moon throwing star things.
I don't know what they would be called.
I don't remember what they're called.
But yeah.
Moon stars.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I like that.
So yeah, he gets down there, and Mark now has control of the body, and Steven is in the reflections.
Yeah.
And he does not like it. He's like, this is what you have to deal with all the time. This is not fun.
Yeah,
he's like, I want my body back. He's like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, sorry, I'm taking it for now. And then he realizes that he lost the scarab. So
I guess it just fell out of his pocket.
I guess so. Which Layla had at first, but did she give it back to him? And
then she gave it to him. Yeah, whenever they were with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, so then you see that Ethan Hawke has found it, or actually a homeless person found it and gave it to him, and he kills him.
Yeah,
and it's like, ugh, come on.
Yeah. Layla sees him do it.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. So she jumps on her bike and is out.
That's pretty much it, right? I mean, him and Khonshu kind of talk.
Yeah, he talks to Khonshu, and he's like, you told me one more thing and you would be done. And he's like, yeah, that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
It's like, but we get along so well, Mark. We could be together.
Yeah. And then he wakes up in Egypt, and that's where the show ends.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's where the episode ends.
Yep. So what's gonna happen next? We'll see.
I don't know.
They're trying to find the tomb of Ahmed so they can resurrect her.
Yes.
So I'm guessing he's trying to get there first.
Yeah, well, I would imagine so.
Yeah. It wasn't quite as exciting as the first one, but it was, had some good moments. I liked seeing Mr. Knight, and the little jokes were funny. So
yeah.
Oscar Isaac's just great.
It's
amazing.
So good.
So I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. But now it's time to talk about our main movie.
Yep.
Which is Titanic.
The
Titanic. It is a boat.
Oh my gosh. So we were trying to figure out what we wanted to cover this week. And I was in the grocery store.
Yes.
Because we had already talked about what are we going to cover.
Yeah.
Maybe we hadn't talked about it yet, but anyway,
You had at least asked me earlier in the week, and I didn't know.
Yeah, we weren't sure. Yeah, so I was in the grocery store at the checkout line, and I happened to look up, and there was a magazine. I didn't tell you about this, but there was a magazine, and it was about the anniversary of Titanic. And I was like, oh yeah, that is coming up. I was like, when is that?
Yeah.
So I checked, and it is this coming Friday.
Okay.
Or, well, technically it's like Thursday/Friday because it hit the iceberg
right
at like close to midnight.
Yeah.
And then it sank on the 15th.
Right.
So, but I was like, well, since we don't have anything, I guess I can suggest that, and maybe we could do that.
Yep. So here we are.
Here we are.
We are talking about it.
Yep, on the week of the 110th anniversary of the event happening in real life.
Very sad event. Mm-hmm. I don't like watching this movie because it's so sad.
It is very sad.
I feel very bad for all those people.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't like watching like real disaster movies.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
So this one's tough to watch, and if you ever watched the movie Everest, that one's real tough to watch.
I bet.
And I read the book that Everest is based on.
Yeah.
Because, it was based on a true event, too. And it was hard to get through that, because,
yeah.
Because you're like, oh my god, these are real people that this is happening to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard to watch.
Yeah. And I don't like the rest of it as much to where I want to watch. It's worth it, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't hate this movie. It's not like Avatar, which I despise.
Yeah.
But it's just not to where I want to be depressed about all these people dying.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about it. Let's have fun.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about this movie.
Well, we're probably not going to be talking about,
each death in depth.
No. I've always, well, not always, but ever since I found out about the Titanic, I've been kind of fascinated by it.
Yeah.
So.
It was the ship of dreams, art.
Oh my gosh. It was also Unsinkable. Did you hear that?
Uh-huh.
When it came out, I was like, oh yeah, I'll go see that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everybody's like, oh my gosh, Jack and Rose, they're the best couple. And I'm like, okay.
Sort of weird.
All right. Yeah. It's a lot like, I think of it a lot like a Hallmark movie, but during a weird actual event. Yeah. Because they only know each other like a week.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that long.
It's very true. Yeah.
And they're like, we'll be together forever. Except they're not, of course.
Right.
But yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I like that they tried to make it as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if they didn't, because I've seen Titanic stuff where it's like, oh, you did that? Okay, that's weird. I thought it was very interesting that they did so much to try to make it. Yeah.
One thing
very accurate.
Gotta give James Cameron credit on. He cared a lot about the material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a big passion project for him, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then it's funny that he took so much care doing that. Mm-hmm. And then there are some things in there that it's like, wait, that's definitely an anachronism.
Yeah.
Because as we were watching it, I was like, huh.
Is that right?
Is that true? And then I looked it up and was like, nope.
And there was the whole thing about Neil deGrasse Tyson giving him crap about the stars being wrong. And so they went back and changed it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if our version was that changed version or not.
Probably not. And I will say that the version that we watched, while it had everything, it was all there.
It was all there.
We were watching it on, it's called Pluto TV.
Right.
Which is like free movies.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is they put commercials.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's fine if there are commercials.
I grew up doing that. That's not a problem.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But the commercials were coming in like every 5 to 7 minutes.
So bad, yeah.
And they were political ads.
Yeah.
From Alabama.
Awful.
And I was like, if I have to see Governor Kay Ivey one more time and people talk about how terrible she is.
Yeah. It was rough.
Yeah.
And then, we were talking about toward the end, they were coming nonstop.
Yeah, I was like, it's going to stop at a commercial, like, right here. Yeah. I just know it. It surprisingly went for a while without them. And I was like, wow.
Made it through the credits.
That was
somehow.
surprising.
Yeah.
So, there were a lot of commercials. So what was supposed to be a 3-hour and 15-minute movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how long.
I don't know.
I feel like it was like 4.5 hours just because of those ads.
Yeah. I was pretty tired by the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's already a really long movie.
Yeah. And then you were going to put ads in so often.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I guess we should start from the beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
Yeah. Well, we're probably not going to cover quite as in-depth as we have other movies.
More than likely you've seen it.
Mm-hmm, most people have probably seen this. Yeah. So, yeah. But it starts off with Bill Paxton.
With a sweet earring.
Yeah. And some vlogging skills.
Yeah.
He's already...
Hey, guys.
They're down underwater at the ship. Or they come up on it, and he's like, we should be seeing it pretty soon, And so it shows it under the water and everything in modern day, but it's not really modern right now because it's kind of an older movie, but 1997 version.
Yep.
So they have these little
robots
that go into the wreckage.
Wallies.
Yep, and they're trying to find stuff in there. And
Duncan and Snoop.
Yep, Duncan and Snoop. I was going to say that. When it showed Duncan, I was like, is the other one named Donut?
Uh-huh.
But no, it's Snoop. It's like, why is it Duncan and Snoop? I don't know. It's weird.
Don't know.
But they go in there. The robots go in. They find the safe in Cal's stateroom.
Because he knows all about the heart of the ocean diamond.
Exactly, because he knows that Cal's dad, I think it was on his insurance claim or something. And so they know that he had it last while he was on the Titanic, and that's probably where it is. It
had to have gone down with the ship.
Mm-hmm. So they're like, let's take this and crack it open, find that diamond.
Because where else are you going to put it? In the safe.
Exactly. It makes sense. So they bring it on board. They crack it open. It's full of money and
smut.
Money and all kinds of just papers and documents. And they they're cleaning everything up.
Yeah, they have museum workers. They're professional restorers.
Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to clean it all up, get all the mud and grime and stuff off of the stuff. And they notice that one of the things is a picture. Mm-hmm. And it's a naked lady. And she's wearing the heart of the ocean. Uh-huh. And they're like, who is this mysterious hottie?
She's wearing it. She's got to know where it is.
Yep.
If she's alive.
Exactly. And also, it has the date that it was drawn, and it was April 14th. And they're like, this was drawn the last night of the Titanic.
Yeah, so if she's wearing it, she might have gotten away and has it on.
Yep, maybe she knows where it is. So then we go forward
she could have just died anywhere else in the boat.
Yeah. Well, maybe they think that her family has it or something too.
Yeah, that could be.
But anyway, we see old Rose, and she is she's ghosting it up with her pottery.
Oh yeah,
pottery wheel. I'm sure Jack is behind her.
Probably.
Now that is a crossover. I want to see. No. So she's doing her pottery, and she happens to see something, and they're talking about the Titanic.
Yeah.
And then they show the picture, and I'm like, stop showing my naked picture on TV, please.
Yeah, how embarrassing would that be?
It's like, okay. Can you not blur some stuff out or just show the face?
Yeah, seriously.
And, cut it off at the right here or something.
Come on, man.
No, they got to show everything. It's art, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's like, that's me.
Hey, look, granddaughter.
Exactly.
Look at your naked grandmother.
Look at that. Isn't it pretty?
Pretty hot, huh?
So she gets flown out to the ship where they're doing all the stuff.
She brings her dog onto the ship.
She does bring her dog, and it never shows him again.
Right? Yeah.
And her dog.
I mean, he kind of is riding with her a little bit, but yeah.
And her granddaughter.
And Goldfish. So
they get there, and one of the guys that works with him is like, she's lying.
Yeah.
That can't be her. She'd have to be 101 or 100 something. And he's like 101.
And they think she went down on the ship, Rose DeWitt, whatever.
Rose DeWitt Bucator.
Right.
Because in the manifest or whatever, she was written down as having gone down with the ship.
Right.
Because she was never seen again after the ship went down.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks she's dead. And then she's saying that her name is Rose Dawson.
Mm-hmm. And
they're like, okay, well, Rose Dawson was an actress, so obviously she's lying.
She got married, punched kids.
Yeah, they're like, punched out a few kids. It's like, what?
What a way to describe it.
That's a really weird way to say it. Oh, man. So she is like, okay, here's Yep, that's a picture of me. And it was really, because they're like mansplaining the heart of the sea to her, and she's
and
like,
how the Titanic happened.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I know I was there. I had it on me, but okay, sure, thanks.
Yeah, and he's like making it a real like happy, like fun joke time about how the Titanic went down. It's like, she was there. That's probably traumatic.
Yeah, she's like, okay, thanks for bringing up my PTSD. You know,
like,
for triggering that. You
what
know?
the heck, man? Why would you do that?
And I mean, she does like walk away for a minute and is like crying. It's like, oh my gosh, she's an old lady. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Don't act so happy about this ship sinking and killing like actually more than half of the people on board.
Yeah.
Yikes. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's not really something to have fun with.
No.
Probably.
So anyway, so she's like, I'll tell you my story. And so I was like, all right. So they all like gather around basically and they have story time with Rose.
And she tells them a 2-hour story.
Yeah. So she starts and she's like, they called it the Ship of Dreams. And she's like, yeah, and it shows, and so of course it goes back in time. It shows her getting out. Shows her getting out of her little car and everything. Then you meet Cal, who's a jerk immediately.
Yeah.
You meet her mother, who's
Billy
also
Zane.
Yep. You meet her mother, who's also a jerk immediately.
Her mother, who also brought her dog, right? No, why am I thinking of that? No, I don't know why I thought that for a second.
I don't know. There were some dogs on board, but I don't think it was theirs.
Yeah. I don't know why that came in my head.
I don't know. But anyway, so they're walking in and she's like, yes, they called it the Ship of Dreams, but for me, it was a slave ship. And I'm like, okay. Rose, no.
Not a good start.
That is not... I'm sure it was not, because she's like, and I felt like a slave. It's like, no,
you don't.
You are so far from being a slave.
You are.
How dare you?
A rich white woman, and yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
I mean, she could have said, "I felt like a prisoner" or something like that.
That would have been really good.
A slave?
Yeah,
really?
Bad choice.
No,
bad choice.
Terrible choice.
Come on, James.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, she gets on board, and then you see Jack and his friend Fabrizio. And of course, they win tickets onto the Titanic in a poker game. They almost miss the ship. They jump on there, and he's like, have you been through inspection? And they're like, yeah sure.
They did health checks on them all for lice.
Yeah, exactly. So they jump on board because they're like, no, it's okay. We're Americans. We don't have lice. And he's like, okay, come on.
I didn't know that was a rule.
And I'm like, and that's how you get lice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If they had made it, they probably would have led to epidemic over there. Oh my
gosh. So yeah, they get in there, and so now everybody's on board. They take off. They almost hit a sailboat, looks like.
Yeah.
It's like, sailboat, you might want to scoot it.
Not a good time to be in the water.
Yeah, exactly. And then it shows them in their stateroom, and she has all of these paintings. She has like Picasso, she has Degas, and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, what happened to these paintings? Because these are actual paintings that are in museums now.
Yeah, we see them in the water later, so I don't know what happened there.
Did you just pay for copies? Because that has to be what it is. Because I know for a fact that some of those are in museums. Because I have seen some of those.
Surely they were copies.
So anyway, we know that they're not,
Yeah.
Which they're not real people anyway. So
yeah.
These are not actual people who were on the Titanic.
That's true.
But yeah, they would have lost all those paintings if that were the case. So then we see like the ship's captain, and I was like, hey, look, that's Theoden from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I didn't recognize him.
Yep. So
he looks a lot like pictures I've seen of Captain Smith. That's pretty good.
There are so many, like if you like look at like side by side pictures of the cast and the people they were portraying.
Yeah, even like Kathy Bates looks a lot like Molly Brown.
They're really close.
Yeah.
They did a great job with casting.
Yeah.
Like
people
who
looks
look
a lot like James Cameron.
Yeah, we did say that he's playing the part of James Cameron.
Yeah.
I don't know what his actual name was supposed to be in the movie.
Oh, it was Bill. No, not Bill. I should know it because Paul F. Tompkins does a character on Comedy Bang Bang. He does him.
Okay.
But I can't remember.
I just kept calling him Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
So.
That's who he should have been.
Or James Cameron, because that's who he was. So, yeah, we get to meet some of these people, like Molly Brown, of course, and some of the other people, like I can't remember how Ismay was connected, but he was like, he was
Big
part
ears
of...
guy?
No. He was part of White Star Line. He was like a founder of White Star Line or something like that.
The mustache guy?
The mustache guy.
That wanted him to go fast?
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
He was, Sonic with a mustache. Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
I always think of him as the hunter in Jumanji.
Oh, yeah.
Where actually he played a dual role of the hunter and also the dad, because he was Robin Williams' dad when he was a young kid. But I always think of him in that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's that guy. And then you had Thomas Andrews. That was the guy with the big ears.
The engineer.
Yes, it's Victor Garber. He's the one who, like, built the ship, basically.
Right.
So he knows all the ins and outs of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are some other people, like, there were some, like, society people.
Yeah.
But you don't really get to know them too much. It's
like
just
that
kind of
Macy's guy.
Yeah, the Strauss couple, and then some of the Astors. And there's some other people.
Is Strauss guy the Levi Strauss?
No, or at least not that I know of.
I don't know.
Because I think that would have been like in California, and this guy was in New York.
Yeah, I think
they may have been related somehow. I don't know. Oh. But yeah, you don't really get to know those people that much. It's just kind of like, hey, and these people were there.
Right.
So let's see. They have dinner that night, and
she's just so put upon.
Yeah.
Like, I get she's depressed. I get that. Depression is real, and that's fine. But we can't relate to her struggles here. Yeah. It's like this rich girl who has to have all these nice dinners and parties and such, but I guess she can't choose her own life, even though technically she can because she does. But, you know. Yeah. She's not in the best situation, but she's a little depressed.
Yeah, and there is one point where they're having dinner, and she's like, okay, well, first of all, she, like, lights a cigarette, and her mother's like, I wish you wouldn't do that. And she, like, blows smoke in her face. Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's got mommy issues.
Yeah, and then Cal, like, takes the cigarette away from her. Yeah. And orders her meal for her and everything. And Kathy Bates... I keep calling her Kathy Bates. I know it's Molly Brown, but she's like, oh, are you going to cut her food for her, too? And she's like, I just can't live my own life. Yeah. So she leaves, and I noticed that, like, all the other gentlemen that were sitting at the table stand up when she leaves, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stand up when a lady leaves. What did Cal do? He just sat there.
Just sat there.
Like, come on. Come on, Cal. So she walks out, and that's when she sees Leo for the first time. Jack for the first time. And he's, like, down somewhere on deck with his little third-class friends.
Did we skip the part where he went to the front with Fabricio when they got on? Oh, no, it wasn't when they got on, but they went and did the King of the World.
I'm not sure. I don't like to talk about that part.
It was very early. Because I was like, 5 minutes, he's going to be the King of the World.
Yeah. Well, they were on that same part of the ship, I think, at this point. So it may have just happened. I don't know.
They were just chilling.
But anyway, she looks down and she sees him and he's staring at her. And his friend Tommy's like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But so they are kind of aware of each other. Mm-hmm. And then that night is when she's like, I can't take this anymore. And she just runs out from dinner.
Sprints to the front. Or the back.
Yeah, to the back. She's sprinting. She's like knocking people out of the way. Nobody is stopping her and being like, ma'am, are you okay?
She might need help. The staff doesn't like care.
No, they're just like, oh, well.
There goes a passenger.
There goes somebody. I don't know what we should do. So yeah, nobody stops her. She's upset. She's running. She gets to the back of the boat, and Jack is like laying on a bench. He's just like looking up at the stars.
Sees her go by.
And she climbs over the railing, and she's like, this is it. Can't take this anymore. I'm going to jump. And he's like, you're not going to jump.
It's like, if you jump, I got to go in after you. And it's going to be super cold.
Exactly.
And it sucks because I grew up in Pocatoka block of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And
he's like, have you ever been ice fishing on Lake whatever? Lake Wobegon is what I was about to say, but that's not what it is.
For our purposes, Prairie Home Companion.
Yeah. Whatever. So, have you ever been ice fishing on this? And he's like, ice fishing, it's like this. And she's like, I know what ice fishing is. Of course, someone trying to mansplain something else to her. She's like, I'm getting tired of all this mansplaining, and I'm just gonna jump. He's like, it's really cold. It's like 1,000 knives, like, piercing your body.
Stabbing you.
And it's like, ooh, this is foreshadowing. So yeah, he's talking about how cold the water is. And he's like, so why don't you just come over, It can't be all that bad, you know.
Yeah, takes off his boots and coat and boots and pants and boots.
Haircuts. Yeah, so he takes off his coat and his pants. No.
You wish. You wish. Paging Dr. Freud.
That is not what I meant. I meant boots. Boots and pants and boots and pants. So yeah, he takes off his jacket and his boots. And he takes her hand and she's like, okay, I'll go ahead and get out of here.
Yeah. He's like, you aren't going to jump.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we did forget. We were talking about the lake and ice fishing. And turns out that lake is a man-made lake, which was not made until after 1914, 12.
Yeah, it was like 1917.
1912.
Yeah, oh boy. You are flustered by the pants.
Oh boy. Let me ban myself. Yeah, it was built in like 1917 or something.
Yeah.
So it was not there at the time. Yeah, but he helps her and she almost falls. She's like dangling off the back of the boat. He pulls her up and of course she's screaming so people hear her.
Yeah.
And they all start running and he does manage to get her back over the boat.
Yeah, and then they tumble to the ground.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, oh, scandal! Her knees are showing and and he doesn't have his boots on. Yeah. Okay. They're like, well, we're going to arrest him because obviously he was doing something bad. He must have attacked her. These terrible people in steerage, you know how they be.
And it takes Rose a while to dispute this.
Yeah, like everybody shows up and she's like, oh, no, that's not what happened. I was looking over the side to try to get a better look at the propellers.
Those things,
you know, the propeller. Yeah, the propellers, exactly. And I slipped and fell over and he saved me. So, you know, he's a good guy. It was nothing untoward, you know. And so
we probably owe him a reward even.
Exactly. And Cal's like, all right, give him a 20.
Yeah. Like, oh.
And she's like, oh, that's how much I am valued by you? Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
And he's like, okay, fine. He can come to dinner tomorrow.
Yeah.
With us. And regale us with his tale of, you know, chivalry or whatever.
Right.
And so he's like, okay, that sounds good. And then, like, he leaves his manservant to, like, take care of whatever.
Yeah.
And his manservant, whose name is Lovejoy, who hates both love and joy. And,
Lucky had your boots and stuff off.
Oh, yeah. And what's funny is, like, Lovejoy's about to walk away, and Jack's like, hey. And I'm like, oh, he's going to ask him for that $20. But he didn't.
Yeah, that's it too.
He's like, can I bum a cigarette? And so he takes it, and he takes one, and then and then puts one in his mouth. He's like, all right. And then the guy's like, so what were you doing with your shoes off? What were you doing with your pants off, sir? No, so it's funny, you know, that you were able to take your shoes off and everything while she was almost dying. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, maybe he just likes to relax with his shoes off.
Maybe. Who doesn't? Come on.
I mean, if I were on a boat and were sitting outside looking at the stars, I would take my boots off.
Unless it was cold.
Unless it was cold. And I would take my jacket off unless it was cold.
Yeah, like I might take my pants off.
Unless it was cold. Yeah, so he's like, that's kind of strange, isn't it? Uh-huh. Mister.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, Cal that night gives her the heart of the ocean. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so, you gonna let me in them panties?
Yeah. I mean, basically.
It's like, sir, it is 1912. Mm-hmm. No.
Sir.
He's like, but I gave you a big diamond. And she's like, I don't care. Yeah.
Like,
you're not getting in
suck.
this.
Yeah.
No, it's like, you're going to have to wait till we're married.
Yeah.
That's how things work here.
That's right. And you're a jerk.
And you're a jerk, and I don't like you. I'm not actually in love with you. I'm only doing this because our family is poor now. Mm-hmm. Which you find out later.
Yeah. I forgot that from the original watch that they were... I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, because, like, her dad died, and he had gambled away their money or had debts. Yeah, that's what it was, I think. And so after they paid off the debts, it was like, we don't have anything. So you have to marry a rich person.
Yep, because that mom ain't marrying anybody, I guess.
Yeah. So then we have a few days of them, like, getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he teaches her how to spit.
Yeah, that was great.
And
I didn't enjoy that.
That was really gross. It does come in later.
Yeah.
There's a callback to it later.
Spit like a man.
And then also he talks about how they should go to Santa Monica Pier to ride the roller coaster and then ride horses along the beach and all this stuff. And I was like, was there a roller coaster there in 1912? There was not.
Yeah.
It was not there till like 1916 or 1917.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to ride a roller coaster in 1916. Oh, man. That seems like death for sure.
Yeah, it does not seem that safe.
It does not.
And they were all like wooden roller coasters, which they're wooden roller coasters now.
Yeah.
And they're really fun and everything. But
man, they can be rough.
Yeah.
Wooden ones.
Yeah. And then there's like, there were a bunch of them in Coney Island. Because I got really obsessed with Coney Island at one point. And so I was like, I have to know everything about Coney Island.
Yeah.
And so there were all of these like little parks and stuff on Coney Island. And I don't know how many fires were there, but a lot of them were raised to the ground because of fires.
Of course.
Because also it was like right when electricity started, became like a big thing. So they're like, oh, all the lights
light it up
so that people can come out at night and have fun and everything. And then
bad wiring.
Ooh, one little bit of bad wiring. That whole thing's going up in flames.
Yep.
So did you know that this is totally a tangent, but did you know that there was like an incubator for babies? There was like they were like a sideshow kind of thing. The guy who created baby incubators, no one would use them in hospitals. So he went to Coney Island and he set up a bunch of them. And if there were like a premature babies born in New York, they would send them there. And people could watch like the nurses handling the babies and everything in their incubators. And since everybody was like, oh, this is really neat, that's why hospitals were like, oh, maybe we should have this as a thing.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't know that.
But yeah, it was like a sideshow kind of thing.
Wow.
Babies. On Coney Island.
Babies trying to live.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So, anyway.
We're an educational podcast.
But yeah, there was no roller coaster there. There probably were horses, though, that you could ride on the beach.
Yeah.
He's invited to he shows her her drawing, his
tells
drawings
her about
and stuff.
his art. That's what he was doing in Paris. Drawing prostitutes. Yeah.
One of them was a one-legged prostitute. He really liked her because she had beautiful hands.
She did, I guess.
And he like drew her hands a lot. And so she's like, oh, well, these are interesting. They're really good.
Yeah.
And then later that night, they're at dinner. That's when he goes to dinner. Yeah. Molly Brown has been really nice and given him a suit that was her son's because they're not the same size.
Why did she have her son's suit?
I don't know.
Because he wasn't on the boat, right?
Maybe she went back before he did.
And she was just taking some of his stuff.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But
it's very convenient.
Yeah. Or maybe he was on the ship and
maybe.
I don't think
he just lived it up everywhere else.
Or maybe he had already left and gone back to America and was like, here, Mom, bring this stuff with you when you come.
Wrote her telegram, Mother, I forgot my suit.
Who knows? Anyway, so he gets to go to dinner with them and he's kind of acting like he's...
Like he belongs.
Like he's new money. And... Of course, her mother's like, so how are things in third class? Yeah. It's like, well, there are hardly any rats, so it's pretty good. And so they talk about, he talks about what it's like living without a home, basically, and how nice it is.
He's free to do whatever.
And Rose is like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
She's all about, I need my freedom.
Yeah.
So... She thinks that he's real cool.
It's about taking a chance or something. Yeah. And at the end of dinner, they all get up to go smoke some cigarettes or cigars and drink brandy.
Yes. All the men do. And all the all the women sit there and gab, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I think it's time for me to leave, so I'm going to go. And he leaves her a little note, and he's like, meet me in front of the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, oh,
Okay.
So she gets out there, she meets him, and he's like, do you want to go to a real party?
Yep.
And then takes her downstairs.
Yeah, they go to steerage.
Yep, to steerage, and they're having a big party down there.
They're dancing.
They've got nice,
got a band
cool music.
playing. Yeah.
They're like doing jigs and stuff. They're all drinking beer.
Arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
She
Getting drunk and falling over.
Yeah. She's like, y'all think y'all are tough? I can stand on my toes.
Exactly.
Like a ballerina.
Mm-hmm. So they have a good time down there. But of course, Lovejoy comes down there and he's like,
a real killjoy.
You're right? Oh, gosh. So he walks down there and he sees him. He's like, I'm going to tell my boss about you. Which apparently he does, because the next morning Cal is like, oh, so how was that party downstairs?
Yeah. Must be pretty tired. Man, I'm dancing.
And he's like, I thought you were going to come to me last night. You were going to come into my room. She's like, I never said that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
And he's like, overturns the table and is like, you will do your wifely duties.
Yeah.
You will obey me.
You will. Out of a box of scrap.
I don't know what kind of accent that was, but okay. Did not sound like Billy Zane at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, he frightens her and everything. And this was the point where I saw this movie. Okay, I saw this movie a couple of times. At least once in the theater. And then again, like a couple of years later at Alabama Theater in Birmingham. And with my mom and my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the point where my grandmother was like, oh, she better not marry him.
Yep.
Real cute.
Yeah, your grandmother's right.
Yeah, exactly, because he is... Whew,
he's the
got
worst.
some anger issues.
Yeah.
And, and possessiveness, like, big time.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
That is a red flag if I ever saw one.
For sure.
He's just waving it all around.
Yeah.
Which she knows. She's like, oof, this is not good.
Yep.
But, she doesn't really have a choice, because, of course, that's when her mom's like, you've got to marry him, we're poor.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it's not good.
Cinch up your girdle. I'll cinch it up real hard unless you marry him.
Yeah. So they take, like, a little tour of the ship. Thomas Andrews gives them a little tour, and they go by the lifeboats. And she's like, okay, well, I did some quick calculations in my head, and I don't think there are enough lifeboats. And he's like, yeah, there aren't.
Yeah.
They told me that we couldn't have that many, because
they're like,
taking
we
too
wouldn't
much
need 'em.
deck space.
Yeah, it's all cluttered.
And then, of course, Cal's like, but it's unsinkable, so we don't need them.
Yeah.
It's like,
we're
Cal,
good. Don't worry.
stop jinxing it.
Yeah.
Which you know how it's going to end, but whatever.
Wait, what?
We know how it's going to end.
Do we?
Oh my gosh.
What happens?
Stop it. Stop it. So yeah, there are not enough lifeboats for everyone if something happens.
Mm-hmm. Leo sneaks up.
Yes.
He's took somebody's coat and hat to go incognito.
Yes, and he takes her off by herself and talks to her a little bit. He's like, you should be with me.
I love you.
But he doesn't get angry about it when she's like, no, I don't want to,
He's just like, you gotta take a chance, we gotta do this.
Just like, you want your freedom, well,
let's go, baby.
Here it is, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, no, we probably shouldn't talk anymore either, because this is not good.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, well, I tried.
Yeah.
He's like, I shot my shot. It didn't work.
Yep.
Exactly. So she goes off, and then later shows up again.
Yeah, she's like, I changed my mind.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing here? She's like, changed my mind.
We didn't even see an internal struggle or anything. We don't know why she changed her mind. It's just, all right, I changed my mind.
Well, I think it showed her watching, I think that's when she was watching that little girl at tea time or whatever, and seeing how, she's like, okay, I can't deal with this, because if I don't get out of this, I'm going to be teaching my own children this, and they're going to be stuck in it too, and I just got to get out, so sure, I'll go, I'm going to go with him. Yeah.
Let's change it up.
Yep, exactly. So she gets out there, they have a good time, they're doing their stuff, and that's when she's like, okay, I want you to draw me. Like
your French girls.
Like one of your French girls.
Yeah.
And
I remember before we went and saw this movie, my friend, I was at his house.
Okay.
I think me and my brother were there, and my friend's like, dude, you gotta see Titanic.
Oh, no.
You see boobs. There's boobs. And I was like, really? Oh my gosh. And then we went. It was the whole family. My parents were there.
Oh, no.
And that scene comes up. My mom's I think she's 2 or 3 seats away from me. she's like diving over to cover my eyes. And I'm like just leaning over. Because I'm not that old when this came out. So, I mean, coming up on junior high.
Yeah,
so,
I was in high school.
Yeah.
Because I'm older than you.
You are.
I'm an old lady.
So, yeah. Nice try, Mom. You did your best.
It didn't work.
But, yeah.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, she comes out. She's, like, wearing a robe. And she's like, I want you to draw me wearing this. And shows him the heart of the sea. Mm-hmm. And she's, like, wearing only this. Mm-hmm. And he's like, ooh, little hot under the collar here. Ha-cha-cha. Yeah. So she takes off her robe and she gets all situated and he's like, okay, girl. Mm-hmm. That's one fine body you got there.
Yeah.
And
she could have been wearing pants. He just drew the top half.
That's true. Well, I feel like he did draw
I don't think
more,
so.
But I don't know. Maybe not.
Unless he put it on another page. Like you tape them together.
Oh, centerfold.
How about that?
Oh, boy. So anyway, he draws her. There we go.
Yep.
And then they go off together. They go back to the cabin and put the drawing into the safe and the
Heart of the Ocean.
Heart of the Ocean into the safe.
She writes a little
She writes a little note. And she's like, basically, this is the only time you're going to see me naked, so you better enjoy it.
Here's your 2 favorite things. And you're safe.
Exactly. So then they go off. They just kind of wander around together on the boat. They go through, like, what is it called? Where they're doing all the steam engine stuff.
Yeah, the engine room.
The engine room. God, why can I not think of engine room?
What's that room with all the engines in it?
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, the engine room? Yeah, that's it. That's it. So yeah, they go to the engine room, they run through there, and people are like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. So
well, they were chased by...
Yeah, there were people that were
Killjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they make it to, like, the storage compartment, whatever place where all the stuff is. Did you know that there was a mummy on board the Titanic?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did it go down with the ship?
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't say
that. I really don't... Do you really expect them to go, oh...
Save the mummy.
Let me go get my mummy and stick it into a lifeboat.
I would. I gotta get that mummy. Or else it's gonna haunt that thing.
Oh, that's... that's probably why it went down, because it was the mummy's curse.
I wonder... Oh, I like that. That's a movie right there. The Mummy.
The Mummy versus the Titanic. Okay.
Because we don't see what it did under there.
It's true.
Oh, boy. All right.
So, anyway, they
Don't steal that idea.
So they go down there. There's, like, a car down there. And they get into the car. And he's, like, pretending to be her driver. And she pulls him back. And she's like, I don't want you to be a driver. I want you to... Love me up.
Backseat loving. Yep.
So
steam up the windows.
Yep. They steam up the windows.
I guess they pulled that one window back up to keep all the steam in.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, they probably also didn't want people to hear them.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, it's all steamy.
Yeah. And all that room with just everybody's valuables was unlocked and easily accessible.
Yeah, anybody could go in there.
Yeah, everybody could have stolen everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the security on the ship is not the best.
Yeah, the security was real bad in so many cases.
Yeah, so that's about the time that Cal opens the safe and sees that the stuff is in there, and he grabs the picture and he crinkles it up, and I'm like, that was not crinkled up.
Yeah, when it was restored, it was not crinkled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird. But then he's like, we've got to figure out a way to get this guy back for what he's done. So they decide that they're gonna, like, make it look like he's a thief, that he's stolen something, that he's stolen the heart of the sea.
Frame him.
They're gonna frame him. Ooh, these terrible people.
Ooh, he dead rabbit.
So anyway, Jack and Rose, they've had their moment together.
Yep.
They go back up to the deck. They're just hanging out up there kissing, and the people in the crow's nest or whatever are like, oh, look, there's some people kissing down there. Oh, hubba, hubba. And then they're like, oh, crap, there's an iceberg up there. Yeah. So they see it, and they're like, you gotta stop, move the ship, quick. Yep. There's an iceberg. Dead ahead. So they go hard to starboard.
Right ahead, whatever.
What?
Iceberg right ahead?
Yeah, iceberg right ahead. Iceberg right ahead! And so they're like, hard to starboard. And they start moving, trying to turn the ship. They try to stop the engines and...
Go in reverse.
Yep.
Reverse
so that they'll slow down and can move away as quickly as they can.
And then slam it into port to pivot around it, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. It don't work.
It doesn't work exactly.
Spoilers, it didn't work.
So they hit the iceberg,
Mm-hmm.
and of course it, like, leaves a jagged, like, cut, like, several pieces down the side of the ship.
Yeah.
And that's bad.
Yep.
Because they can withstand the first 4 compartments being filling up with water, but once it hits that 5th one,
it's over.
It's over. It's done. It's donezo. They sink in. And of course, that's what's happened.
Yep. And the pumps can't pump it out fast enough.
Exactly. It might give them like a few extra minutes, but it's not going to be enough. And there aren't any other ships that are really close by.
Yeah, closest one's like 5 hours away.
Yeah. So this is bad.
Yep.
So after they hit the iceberg, Jack and Rose are like, "Oh, something bad's happened. We should probably like tell people."
Yeah.
We should probably go, like, tell my mom and Cal and everything. So they head down there, and Lovejoy finds them and puts the necklace into Jack's pocket. So they get in there. He's like, "That's the thief that stole my stuff."
Yeah.
And so they search him. They find the necklace. And he's like, "I don't know how that got in there.
I'm not a thief.
I'm not a thief." And they're like, "Oh, yeah? Whose coat is this?" And it's somebody else's coat. Because, of course, they put their name in it.
Yep.
Because, it's summer camp.
Because his mom didn't want her to lose it.
So he's like, "Oh, you're not a thief, huh?"
I was gonna give it back.
He's like, "Oh, okay, sure you are, sure, Jan."
It's only been a day or so.
Sure, Jack.
Yeah.
So, well, I think it was like that day, like, because I think that's this.
Yeah, I stole it during the day and then that night.
Yeah,
but still, that's quite a while.
That's a long time to have a coat and not return it. Exactly. So they're like, "Arrest him! Take him to the brig!"
Yeah.
So they take him downstairs and
make him walk the plank. No.
They cuff him to a pipe.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, we gotta go check on this other thing that's happening because
the whole sinking thing.
Yeah, that's probably a problem we should look into. So we'll be back later, I guess." And Lovejoy's like, "It's okay, I'll take care of it, and I've got a gun."
Yeah.
And so he just like
surprisingly calm through the whole thing because he sat there for a long time while it was sinking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure everything's fine or something. I don't know what his thinking was.
Well, at the beginning, nobody really knew that they were going to be sinking or that they were sinking.
Yeah.
Because people are like, "We don't want to stand out on the deck where it's cold. How dare you? We're going inside and drinking our brandy and listening to our music and all that stuff."
Yep.
And, of course, Thomas Andrews is like, "We got to get these people on lifeboats.
Yeah.
Because we're sinking fast.
Yep.
Because we've only got like an hour, maybe 2, at the most, to get these people off of the ship."
Yep.
And then, so they start doing the lifeboats. There are 2,200 people on board.
Yeah.
The lifeboats cannot hold that many people.
No.
But they can hold like 70 people basically per lifeboat.
Right. Because they tested it with like 75 men.
Yeah, 70 men, and it can...
They put 65, I think, is what they said.
They're like 65 is probably a good number. So they start putting people in lifeboats. One of them has like 12 people.
Yeah.
"What are you doing?" And he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
"You got to put more people in this because we don't have enough room as it is. We want to save people, not just, So, anyway.
Because them rich people didn't want a bunch of riffraff in there, I guess.
I guess so. Because, oh my gosh, when her mother gets on board and she's like, "Which part of the lifeboat is for first class passengers?" It's like, excuse me? And that's the point where I called her a leprechaun because she had the buckle on her hat. What is that?
Yeah.
It's like, just scoot over.
The fashion at the time.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about it. We're trying to save people. So
they try and talk Rose into it, but she's like, no.
No, wait.
I gotta find Jack.
Exactly. I gotta find Jack. So she goes off looking for Jack. And I have no more notes after this, so this is just all...
This is just sort of the sad part happens.
Yeah. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So we'll try not to focus too much on the sad part.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the whole thing where, like, the poor people can't get out because they, like, lock the gates to keep them from... Yeah. They want to load up everybody else before they can
they want to load up the first class passengers before they let anybody else on there.
Jeez.
And did that really happen? I don't know.
I feel like it maybe did.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be surprised.
I think maybe the worst portrayal, like, not bad portrayal, but, like, he was just kind of written wrong, was maybe Captain Smith. Because, like, in this movie, he's just, like, shell struck the whole time. Doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, because someone comes up to him and is like, where can we get on a boat? And he just doesn't even say anything. He just he's like, I'm just going to go get into my little office here and wait for the ship to go down. Which
I think he actually did do a good job from what they say. I think. I feel like I remember somebody saying that.
Yeah, and there was also, like, one of the guys who was helping people into the lifeboats. It was the guy that Cal paid off and everything. He throws his money back and he shoots people and everything. Yeah. I don't think that happened.
I don't think so.
And he did not kill himself.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, like, his family was real pissed off about that when the movie came out. And they were like, that's how you're going to portray him? Okay. Right. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think they took a few liberties.
Yeah, which,
I guess they have to make it an interesting movie. They got to find a reason for Cal to get out.
I guess, but I mean, that guy didn't even help him in the end, so it didn't even matter. Yeah. They could have just had him helping other people. I don't know. But I like the musicians. Yeah. And that was true.
That was real.
What happened. They
played till the end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sad.
Very sad.
The mom and her kids in the bed, that was a sad moment. One thing I thought was a little unnecessary was, I mean, I guess we're kind of going to jump around a little. Yeah. Because she eventually makes her way to him. The floor's flooding. Yes. She finds him finally. She goes and retrieves an axe. No one will help her. Mm-hmm. And then she finally comes in and he's like, test it on that cover. She hits it. It's like, okay, hit the same mark. Nope. Way off. But somehow she nails that Jane, man, even with her eyes closed.
Yeah, she does it with her eyes closed. She's a girl.
Like, this is a bad idea. I guess it didn't matter where she hit it, just as long as he could get out.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, yeah.
And he was probably like, at that point, if you chop my hand off.
Yeah. Better than drowning.
Yeah. I guess that's still okay.
Yeah. So, he escapes. They both escape. Mm-hmm. Cal eventually...
Yeah, they get back upstairs. They're gonna get her onto a boat. Cal shows up, and he's like, get this nasty third-class blanket off of her. She can have my coat, which has the diamond in it. Right. And so puts it on her, and then they put her onto a boat. And he's like, I've got an arrangement with this guy on the other side. I'll get myself and Jack off on the boat over there.
And Jack's like, yeah, it's cool. We'll do it. You get in there. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine, exactly. And so she gets in there, and they're lowering it down and everything. And Jack's like, you don't have an understanding with someone. Yeah. He's like, well, technically I do, but... You're not for you. Yeah, but only for me because I always win. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she starts, they're lowering her down and everything. She's looking up at him and there are like flares going off in the sky. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I'm getting back on this boat. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Took somebody's seat.
Yeah, exactly. Someone else could have been on there.
Yeah, she's kind of, I mean, her whole time she's kind of just been like young and immature. Yeah. Like she doesn't think much outside of her little area. Yeah. It's her and Jack.
Pretty much.
All the way.
So she jumps off. Somebody people help her back onto the boat so that she doesn't fall into the water. Yeah. And then they run to each other and Cal's like, I've had enough of this. Yeah. Give me your gun, Lovejoy. He just takes Lovejoy's gun, starts shooting at him. Can't hit him. Yeah. He's obviously a stormtrooper.
He's a real bad shot. He's terrible. Slipping on his own debris. Yeah. He
shoots part of the staircase, and as he's running down the stairs, he slips on it. Yeah. You said he banana peeled himself. Yeah. But they managed to get away. There are a few little moments, like she has a little moment with Andrews where he's just kind of sitting there by himself, and he's like,
I'm sorry. I couldn't build you an unsinkable boat, young Rose.
Exactly. And she's like, well, you did what you could, I guess.
Yeah. All right, bye.
I guess I'll leave you here to die alone.
He gives her his life jacket, which Leo never got a life jacket. Like, no. Why? They're dumb. Yeah. I mean, I guess he didn't need it. Yeah. We could have had evidence that there was a Jack Dawson on there if he'd have kept his life coat, if they'd have got all the bodies. I don't know.
True.
So, yeah. But anyway.
Well, they probably wouldn't have been able to identify him. He would have been like a John Doe kind of thing.
Maybe.
But
or maybe he's got fingerprints.
True. Who knows? Cal manages to make it onto a boat by finding a random crying child.
There were a lot of just kids.
Yeah.
Just left alone.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess there's a lot of pandemonium. But,
true.
You know.
So, I just realized last week we did Fantastic Beasts and there was a shipwreck in it with a baby dying.
Oh my god. But I thought that was the Titanic. I still believe it's the Titanic.
I feel like they've said, like the producers or the writers or whatever have said that it was not the Titanic.
Yeah, well, they also said McGonagall's
true.
35 or whatever.
This is true.
Born whenever.
This is true.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he takes the baby or a kid and gets onto the boat.
Yeah.
At least, and he gives it to a woman on the boat, and then he gets on. Yeah. And I was like, he's just going to make that woman take care of that baby the whole time. But no, he does. Take it back.
He's got to keep up the facade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
It starts going down basically. Mm-hmm. They're running to the other side of the ship because the nose is going down. They're running toward the back of the ship because you're like, we got to stay on the ship as long as we can.
Yeah, because the longer you're on the ship, the less time you're in the water.
It's true.
In the freezing water. So it makes sense.
Yeah, we're trying to... It's a game of time until the rescue ship comes, basically. Exactly. So it's a good strategy. So
most of the lifeboats get out. There's
by the way, the guy that was shot was Tommy, his Irish friend.
Yeah.
And then Fabrizio got hit by a smokestack.
Oh, so first of all, Tommy gets shot. Yeah. He dies. Uh-huh. Fabrizio is like, give me that life jacket.
Yeah, I'm going to need that life jacket. Right.
He's like, you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
But then, smokestack falls.
Kills
Fabrizio's gone. So.
Yeah. Poor guy barely got any time in this movie and still got killed.
Right.
Yeah, he had a rough go.
Oh, poor Danny Nucci.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're running to the back of the thing. A lot of sad. It's
people like
it's
slipping
sad,
and sliding down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the captain is in his little room when water comes in.
Yeah, and it was like about to happen.
It was about to happen. It went to commercial.
Came on of socks and they're dancing. It looked like it cut to his feet. That he's like dancing out of like, oh no, it's coming. We were like, what is this?
It was like a Gain commercial.
Yeah,
it was one of those Gain commercials with what's his face, Craig Robinson.
Yeah,
where he's like, I'm a Gain.
It's like it's so inappropriate.
Oh my gosh. No. Okay, I have to tell you this. I don't know if we'll ever watch Battlestar Galactica together. Uh-huh. Maybe eventually one day.
Okay.
But there's one episode, I'm not going to tell you who it is that dies, but someone shoots themselves in the head.
Yeah.
And it goes to commercial like right after. And it was a commercial for tomato soup. And it was like a cracker falling in tomato soup and tomato soup like splashing. No. I was like, this is so terrible. This is not a
bad timing.
This is the worst timing for this tomato soup commercial. What are you doing? Sci-fi. Sci-fi channel. No. So yeah. I've seen my fair share of problematic commercial breaks.
Another thing I didn't feel was necessary in this movie, and maybe inappropriate, was when they're at the back, it's like starting to like tip up, and people are either falling off the back or jumping off, trying to get in the water. And there's the infamous one guy who goes hits the propeller and just starts flipping around. Which I remember in the theater when that happened, people were laughing. And because it's obviously a CGI dude. Yeah. And it's so unnecessary. Like, that just kind of kills the whole thing. Yeah. It doesn't add any sort of like, oh, that poor guy. It's like, that's me. That's what of course I would hit the propeller.
Speaking of CGI, though, we didn't mention this.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the CGI for the time was good.
Yes.
But, and it's aged pretty well.
Yes.
But there's a couple things that are not good.
And the one part I'm thinking of is actually, it was during the I'm the King of the World part. It was like right after that. Because it shows them on the ship. They're doing the I'm the King of the World. And then it like goes back and it shows more of the ship. Yeah. And it shows the captain. He's standing out. And then somebody comes walking out to him. But the way he's walking, it's like, I'm totally a normal human being. It's like, no, it's your computer.
It's like a really muscly guy or something trying to walk. It looks like Vince McMahon coming out to the ring. If you
so
look
funny.
that up. It was great.
But yeah.
That was an unintentional, very funny moment.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, it eventually goes down.
So, yeah, it goes down, or it's like basically bobbing straight up and down at first, and then it breaks in half because it can't take all of that pressure. So it breaks, and it falls down, and of course, when that part breaks and falls down, it hits all those people that were in the water.
Yeah.
Which was real bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like you think, okay, I'm in the water, I'm safe.
Right.
Not knowing that it's going to break in half and fall down and hit you anyway. So, so they're still on the back. And then, of course, it starts going back up again because it's still attached.
Still going to sink, yeah.
And as the front is sinking, it's bringing the back down too. So they go back up into the air again. And there was like the baker, cook, whatever guy who's like sitting there drinking his drink.
Yep.
Who was an actual real life person. I forgot what his name was.
Who survived.
Yeah.
He was super drunk.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's because, because he was drunk. But technically, that does not help you at all. That's actually worse,
freezing,
probably.
Please don't drink.
Yeah, I think it's probably worse because you feel like you're warmer, but you're actually not. Mm-hmm. And you're probably going to die faster.
Yes.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
But Jack has good advice of like, it's going to try and suck us down when it goes down there.
Exactly.
Which is true. You don't want to be in the boat sinking. You don't want to go with it.
Yep. So how does he know that?
Exactly.
Because he's a time traveler.
Yes. He knows a lot. He knows when dolphins are going to jump.
Yes. So yeah, there's a theory that's like, he was obviously a time traveler. That's why he got the roller coaster thing wrong, the lake thing wrong. And I guess that's how he knew how to do that, because he knew it was going to sink that way.
Yeah. That makes no sense.
Makes no sense, but it is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Funny to think about that he was just a time traveler and he was only there to save Rose.
Yeah.
But, okay.
The not important person.
Right. The most important person on the Titanic, obviously. So they get sucked under the water.
Mm-hmm. They get separated.
Mm-hmm. They get separated. She comes up. She's surrounded by people.
Yeah.
And remember, he doesn't have a life jacket either.
Right.
So, whew.
Some other guy who doesn't have a life jacket tries to use her
as a life jacket and pushes her under.
Yep.
And luckily Jack comes in and punches the guy. So he's probably dead. Then. Because he probably drowns.
Yeah.
Because it probably knocked him out and he's like drowning.
Yep.
Good job.
Jack
Good job,
murdered
Jack.
someone.
So he gets her over. They find a door. And
yeah,
of course
which wasn't
like,
far away from everybody. Like, how was that door not
used?
Everybody's
trying to get
clamoring for it. Yeah, because they're all holding on to deck chairs that have been thrown over. And,
Good thing we saw those people throwing those deck chairs over.
Mm-hmm. Smart thinking.
They're like, I'm going to need this later.
Yep.
But, yeah, so that's the big controversy. Could they have both fit on the door?
Yeah.
And, of course, she gets up there, and he starts trying to get up there, and it starts tipping over. Maybe they could have done it if they went from different sides of it.
Yeah, well, if they're both trying to get on at the same time, and they're pulling it up, of course it's going to tip over.
Yeah.
But once she's on, if she counterbalances it, and he can get... Because there is enough room... She just has to counterbalance, unless it doesn't support their weight totally. Yeah. But that's not what went wrong originally. It was that they were flipping it. So,
and when you look at the door, though, like when it shows it at first, it looks like it's a full size door.
Yeah.
But when you look at her like laying on it, it's kind of like got this curved part coming out of it. Yeah. So it's like it's not a full size door.
But still, yeah.
But I mean, they maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't matter.
She could have laid on top of it. Like, you don't need a ton of room. Maybe it'll save a little heat. Yeah. Just hug it up.
I mean, they could have, like, if he came from one side of the door and she came from the other, and they kind of met in the middle and kind of hugged it out. Yeah.
If you're dying.
I mean, they might have had, their feet might have still been in the water, but.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Still better. Get whatever you can out of there. I don't know. If you were dying, you would keep trying. I'm sorry. Like, you wouldn't just be like, okay, let's have
flipped over once.
Let's have kissy talks. Yeah.
But anyway, apparently Leonardo DiCaprio does not like it when people ask him.
I would imagine he would probably get tired of it.
For years and years and years, had that same question.
Yeah.
And so he's just like...
And he probably doesn't care.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't even care about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, please just leave me alone. It's like, I just want to talk about being attacked by a bear in a different movie.
That's right.
So yeah, she makes it onto the door, and he does not, and he's just kind of...
He does snot? Gross.
I mean, he probably does, but it freezes. 'Cause, you know.
Oh yeah, he does have the ice crystals under his nose.
So technically, I guess I'm right. So he can't get on there. He's just kind of like got his elbows up there.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I guess, kicking his feet.
Just chilling
it.
it.
Just, yep.
Yeah. He's like, you gotta promise me you're gonna live. Push out some babies.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna live. You're gonna die an old woman, warm in your bed.
Yep.
And all this stuff.
Which she doesn't. It's in
It's not
bed.
her bed. I mean, assuming that's what happens at the end.
Oh, she does, for sure.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then they're like, now we got a dead old lady on board.
Just throw her out.
Oh, man. Anyway, so...
Me with Jack.
Yeah. So they sit there and wait and wait and wait. And meanwhile, the
staff members is blowing a whistle trying to get the boats to come back.
Well, also, Molly Brown is like, hey, we can fit more people in this boat. And the guy's like, no, we're not going over there because they're going to turn our boat over.
They'll swamp us.
They'll swamp us.
Yeah.
It's like, well, not if you just get like on the edge of and just grab some people kind of like floating away from everybody else. Yeah. But whatever. And then
or if
you do have
like multiple boats going. That would,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you do have like that one instance where there were 3 boats like right there together. And so they're like, we're going to get everybody off. We're going to get everybody into this one boat because we can fit more people in here. And then we can go back and rescue
Mr.
people.
Fantastic.
Exactly. Mr. Fantastic. Yay. Being a superhero. Look at him.
Yep.
And so he's the one who's like going around. Is anybody alive out there?
Yeah.
And
they were the only boat that went back.
Yep. Out of all the boats, they were the only ones that went back. And she hears them and she's like, Jack, there's a boat, Jack. There's a boat. And so.
But he did.
He's dead. And so she's like, well, I promised that I would never. That I would do this thing. I would survive and I'll never let go of that promise. And then she cracks his hands off of her. And
yeah, because they were holding hands.
Yep. So he goes down into the depths.
Down.
And she's like, okay, come back, boat.
Yeah.
Nobody can hear her because come back. And they're still like the boat's going away. So she gets off the door, goes over. There's a guy who had a whistle earlier that she noticed was blowing the whistle. So she goes over there and grabs the whistle from his dead lips.
Yep. Doesn't wipe it off. She just goes straight for it. Which,
just starts,
I would too. I don't care.
I'm just trying to save myself. Yep. So starts blowing that whistle. And of course, Mr. Fantastic hears it. And it's like, okay, I hear somebody. Let's go back. So
he stretches his arm all the way over to her.
Yeah, and then plucks her out of the water. Yeah. So yeah, there she is. She gets rescued.
Apparently they saved 6 people, including her.
Yep. Then they get rescued by the Carpathia, the ship. And I think there may have been another ship that came along after that, too. And,
oh, really?
But also there were ships that were getting bodies out of the water.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah. Cal's on the boat, too. She kind of stays under her blanket so he doesn't see her.
Yeah. And he doesn't find her.
Yeah.
And then she gets off later.
She says he, like, eventually... He got
married, and then
he inherited his business.
Yeah. And then the stock market crash.
So he killed himself.
Yeah. And then she gets to New York. She sees, like, the Statue of Liberty and everything. And then she
feels that diamond.
Feels the diamond. She found the diamond. It was in the coat pocket that Cal left her in.
But Rose doesn't tell Bill Paxton that. No.
And yeah, so they're like, wow, that was an interesting story.
Thank you for your story. I didn't get it until now. I was just going for the Titanic. That's Bill Paxton.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. I didn't really get it, though. And I think she's trying to set up her granddaughter.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Paxton,
oh, yeah. So. She's been trying to set them up, I think, since they got on board.
Real weird, but that's fine. And
she's like, well, I had a ship romance, so why don't you?
Yeah.
So then...
They always work out.
So then it's like late at night. She walks out in her little nightgown, and she goes up to the edge of the railing, and she pulls the Heart of the Sea out of her pocket, and she looks at it for a second, and then she goes, oh.
Yep.
And drops it into the ocean, and it sinks
Yep.
down to be down there with the Titanic
Jack.
and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so then later it shows her, she's in bed, and it goes by and it shows like all of her pictures.
Yeah.
Like she flew an
plane,
airplane.
yeah.
She was like, of course, she was on a beach on a horse, and there was a roller coaster in the background.
Yep.
Which means it had to have been after 1917. And just all the accomplishments that she had.
She
that
lived it up.
She lived her life. She survived. And she died in a bed
Yeah.
as an old lady. And
Yep.
then, of course, it goes down under the water. There's the Titanic, and it turns back into what it looked like in its splendor.
Yeah. And she's entering in.
And all the people who died on the Titanic are in there. And there's Jack waiting for her at the clock.
Top of the stairs.
So she goes up there, and he's like, "You want to go to a real party?" No. So she goes up there, and
He puts on sunglasses.
and there we go. That was it.
Yep.
That's how it ends. Now,
Yep.
did you know that there was an alternate ending?
Yeah, where
Where
Bill
she-
Paxton
yeah.
sees that she's gonna do it.
Yeah, and stops her.
Yeah.
And she at least lets him touch it and everything and
Yeah.
see it, and then I think she still throws it overboard.
Maybe. I can't remember. Or else they talk her out of it. I can't remember.
I can't remember. I feel like she throws it overboard anyway, and he's like, "Well, at least I got to see it.
Yeah.
At least I knew it was, it was there."
I also feel like there was an
But
SNL
then-
sketch too.
But then he's like, "And in the morning, we're gonna take
Yeah,
those.
we're gonna go on.
We're gonna go back down there, exactly where we are right now. We're gonna find that thing."
Yep. Yeah. I think there's also an SNL sketch where they find out and they get real mad at her. Maybe beat her up. I can't
Oh my
remember.
gosh.
Like the It's a Wonderful
Yeah.
Life thing. I don't remember if that was true, but they at least yell at her.
And then
About, you told us all that stuff and you had it in
The whole time? And then, of course, there's the whole Britney Spears "Oops, I Did It Again" thing.
I don't know.
Where, in the music video or whatever, the guy gives her the heart of the ocean. She's like, "I thought the old lady dropped it in the ocean at the end." He's like, "Well, I went down there and got it for you, baby." It's like, aw. What?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It
So,
is.
yeah. Oh, man. But yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a good movie, but it's just, I think I'd never want to see it again, honestly.
Okay.
I'll be happy and not never watch it again. Just because it is very sad.
It is very sad.
And yeah. But yeah, it was well done.
I don't know if there was anything else to talk about it.
I don't think so. So, yeah. All right. So, what do you eat for Titanic?
Oh, gosh.
I suggested iceberg lettuce. But yeah, so our Easter is coming up, which means Easter candy is coming up, and it's out, and it's going, which is a great time of year. And so
Great time of year for candy, for sure.
Candy, yes. So we went and got some Reese's Mallow cups.
Mallow-top.
Top cups, yes. So it's Reese's cups with marshmallow flavored cream on top. And we're going to give them a shot.
Yep.
Smells good. I
Smells
like that.
real good.
We were talking about fluffer nutters earlier today.
Yeah,
So
this is kind of a fluffer
maybe
nutter
it's-
thing.
Yeah, maybe it'll
Look at that.
be a little fluffer nuttery.
Yeah.
All right.
Mine is kind of melty.
Because you're so hot. It's not bad.
I like it. It's good.
It's not better than a regular one, I don't think.
No, probably not, but it's good.
It's an interesting addition.
I feel like we've had one of these that's similar to it. Was probably the Frankenstein one.
This one I feel has more flavor, though.
Yeah, I think this one is better.
Yeah. Were those flavored like anything different?
No,
Just green.
they were just green.
Yeah. So at least they're, adding something into this.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you don't really notice the marshmallow flavor in that much, though. Or at least I
feel
don't.
like I do.
I feel like it's not it's not like overpowering or anything.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, I would say if you're gonna get something marshmallow, don't get Peeps.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are disgusting.
These are way better than Peeps. Yeah.
Get these.
For sure.
Nobody wants Peeps.
Nope.
I mean, people do, but what is wrong with them?
It's weird.
We're a peep-hating podcast.
Peeps are for creeps.
There you go.
Take that, listeners.
Peep lovers.
You peep lovers.
I'm just gonna put the whole thing in my mouth.
Do love a peanut butter cup. Good stuff. I love it. I don't really have much to say about it besides it's good.
It's good. I think I could eat about 50 of those.
Oh, for sure. So what would you rate a Reese's Marshmallow-top cup?
I think I'm going to give it a 9. I really like it.
I'm going to give it probably an 8. It's because it's less than a regular one for me. It's still very good. High quality. Keep it up. I'm all for them trying new things. I mean, they're kind of going overboard a little bit, maybe. But, you know, still, at least as long as the regular ones are still out there and we have the option to just have a regular Reese's cup,
yeah,
I'm fine with them trying a bunch of different stuff.
Exactly. Because, I mean, I don't think, of all the Reese's ones that we have had, I don't think there have been any that have been bad.
Yeah.
Other than, I feel like there was one thing that was not that great. But it wasn't like a Reese's cup. It was something else.
Okay.
But I can't remember what it was. Maybe it wasn't Reese's.
I don't know. There was a kiss with, like, fruit in it I didn't really like as much.
Yeah. It wasn't it, though. It was something that had peanuts, I think, in it.
Oh. Was it a Baby Ruth?
Maybe it was the Nutrageous that I didn't like.
Nutrageous. Oh, yeah, we did have Nutrageous, didn't we?
Maybe that was it.
Yeah. That's probably it. Yeah, you didn't like it as much.
But yeah, with the cups, you can't really go wrong with those. And also with, like, the eggs and Christmas trees and stuff like that. Those are always good.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
sure.
if you like Reese's.
Yeah, if you're a Reese's fan, which we are.
Yes.
We don't like Peeps, but we love our Reese's.
Sure.
Well, that'll do it for this episode. Are there any interesting flavors we don't know about of Reese's that you want to hear us try? Go on to our Twitter page at Having Funcast or at Facebook at Having Fun Pod.
Or you can send us an email at havingfunpod@gmail.com. And let us know all your thoughts and your dreams.
Yes.
And tell us about the ship of dreams.
Any other inaccuracies we missed?
Oh, I'm sure.
Surely.
I can already think of one. The Strauss couple. They were not in their stateroom.
Oh.
They were on deck chairs on the deck.
Oh. Okay. So, were they still hugging?
Yeah, I think so.
Aww.
I think that's what people said they saw as the ship was going down. So,
that's so sad.
It's very sad.
Well, on that note.
On that sad note, well, we do know what we're going to be doing next week, so.
Yeah, we do.
Join us. At least we think we know. We're planning on doing Fantastic Beasts.
Yes.
The new one.
The third one.
Because it's coming out, and that's our plan for that.
See how that goes. Will it be an Angry Tirade episode again?
Who knows?
Who knows? Probably.
Maybe, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if it was.
But we'll see. So tune in to find out. And until then, go have fun, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.